Welcome to the Motivated Martial Arts Podcast. Your hosts, Jackson White and Gavin Cook, have been friends and Taekwondo training partners for over 40 years. This podcast will bring you a mixture of their life stories, martial arts, and business experiences to motivate you in life and throughout your martial arts journey. Adding in a mixture of inspiring interviews and some of the best traditional martial artists around today. So over to your hosts, the Motivated Martial Artists.
Okay, so welcome to the Motivated Martial Artist with myself, Gavin Cook.
And myself, Jackson White.
And again, we've got a real treat again today. So we've currently got, via Skype link, Mark Strange. Mark Strange has currently got a smash hit film out called Redcon 1 that is, I think it's casing at the cinemas in Germany. And it's great to have you on, Mark.
Yeah, likewise, my friend.
Okay, brilliant. So we're just going to fire off, Mark, with a couple of questions. I suppose the first question is, how did you get into martial arts, and tell us a little bit about your early years?
Sure. Well, basically, I went round circle, really. A lot of my childhood was watching martial arts movies and general action movies and Sylvester Stallone and all that type of stuff. And that kind of made me want to start martial arts, watching films. And I kind of went and found a local club at the time, which was Laugar. At the time I started, that was my first system that I started, and did that up to my black sash, and then just developed my martial arts career from there, doing Chinese kickboxing and a variety of different things, weaponry. I started training with Derek Frierson, who was based in Leicester. Okay. I trained over in China with the Shaolin monks and went on a journey learning different Chinese martial arts, from Wing Chun to Praying Mantis to Shaolin Kung Fu. And it was the movies that influenced me to start and find a martial arts club, and I kind of went round circle, really. So I knew from a very young age what I wanted to do. I wanted to work in film as an actor, as a in action movies generally.
Okay, did you do any sort of stage training, go to a stagecoach type activities as you were growing up with the martial arts as well?
No, I took acting lessons. I took private acting lessons. The martial arts side and screen fighting, I was very lucky to work with lots of different coordinators, and I got the opportunity to work with some of Jackie Chan's stunt team, working alongside them on a film called Bodyguard: New Beginning, working around the world with different coordinators, and obviously got to work with Dave Foreman, and worked with him on a fight film that I did called 12. So I kind of shadowed a lot of really great people and learned the fight coordination side from many great people, really, from different kind of styles of choreography as well, but taking it in as a performer as well as a coordinator as well.
From the martial arts side, did you ever get involved in the competition side when you were younger?
I did, yeah. I used to compete on as a young kid on the Martial Arts Illustrated events at the MAIs.
Okay, yeah, we might have crossed paths.
Yeah, we could have done at some point, and the FSKs as well. Back in the day, and then later on, I competed in Sanshao as well, the full contact kickboxing. When I was doing the MAIs and FSKs, I was doing a mixture, really, of different things, from Chinese forms to weaponry and also semi-contact as well.
Did you always have in your mind that you would like to eventually move into the movies, or was it just something that just happened?
Oh, yeah, not always. From 10 years old, I wanted to be in movies. So I just saw the martial arts, and that was really what I really wanted to focus on. Really, was martial arts movies and action movies. So I thought, obviously, I want to get as far as I can and then learn and continue, because I'm still learning now. You never stop learning. It's one of them things, that's the beauty of film as well. There's always something new you can learn. Or like one of the latest films that I had to do, I had to take in and study karate, so which I'd never done really much on the Japanese arts before. The childhood journey of loving movies kind of took me through martial arts, as you know, and I'm still studying, still do what I can, and always trying to learn, do new things and stuff. So yeah, so it's kind of the competing side was great as well because of the performing. You're performing in front of people doing forms and weapons, and I did creative forms back in the day as well, where you create your own form to music and stuff. So it was all a performance in a sense.
So how did you find your way into the movie world then?
It was a funny one, mine. I started pretty much producing my own feature film called Displaced. I met up with a really talented cameraman at the time, director, and we just kind of like gelled at the time and started making a movie. It took us 7 years from start to finish, and yeah, it was pretty a very long process. But on the way, I did so many things. I got to develop a show reel that I could show. A show reel is so important. I met people like Mike Leader in Hong Kong. Obviously, I got to work with Jackie Chan out there on 2 feature films. Mike was a great friend out there. I recently worked with Mike in Hong Kong, which I'll tell you a brief thing about later on. I started my first film 7 years to make, holding people like Ian McKellen, who did a voiceover, who plays Gandalf and in Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Also, he did X-Men. You know who that chap is. He supported the film, and it opened many doors for me, and it got me to work in Hong Kong. I managed to put a show reel together and got to work with Jackie Chan on the Medallion. And
What was it like working with Jackie Chan?
that was incredible. Yeah, Jackie was. I learned some in the short time I was there with him. I was there for free. Lived there for 3-4 months in Hong Kong when I worked. I worked on the Medallion with Jackie Chan and Lee Evans, and I worked on Twins Effect, the Donnie Yen who did the action design for it, where Jackie had a cameo. I was in both movies in both scenes with Jackie as well, and yeah, I learned so much. They have a total different style out there in Hong Kong of coordination, and it was great to sort of like obviously do work with Jackie because I was a big fan of him from growing up. So it was, you're there next minute, and one of the biggest names on the planet, action names, is right in front of you, and you're having to just switch off and crack on with your job.
Yeah. Does he still do his own stunts?
He does, and he's getting to an age now where he requires stuntmen, and doubles and stuff. Not everyone can do all that craziness, all the live kind of thing, So he has to be looked after, I suppose.
So when you sort of went from obviously martial arts into the movie game, then did you transition through as a stuntman first, or did you get a part in like a type feature film or like a smaller budget film initially? How did that sort of process work?
It was kind of like making my own, producing my own film. It opened so many doors. I mean, I worked across the board, really. I was working as an actor. I was working in stunts, and to say stunts, it was more fight sequences. I don't really class myself as a stuntman. I don't jump off buildings or anything, or do high risk kind of stuff. It's mainly all based around fight sequences. I do all my own fights, basically. Yeah, I've never been doubled for that as yet. Maybe once, but that was a huge wire gig, jumping on the top of an ambulance from a motorbike. Right. I class that as a stunt. You see, that's not a fight. That's my thing, really. I like practical in-camera fight sequences that takes talent to work with and gel and bounce off of other actors or other stunt performers. Okay,
so you obviously you've done quite a few movies. And what's the latest project that you're working on, Matt?
There's a couple, actually. I've just, obviously, Redcon 1 is the suppose it's my biggest role to date, and it's the most ambitious. I'm one of the leads in that film, and it was a long journey making that film again, but it was worth every moment, seeing the jigsaw come together, and to the point where now last year it was in every single View cinema across the country almost. I was in Cineworld. For an independent film to get into the cinemas in this country is a really big feat. There's loads of movies that get made that don't hit the cinemas. So for the film to be screened in the View and the Cineworld and showcased right across the country, which I did a tour for, was incredible. And then obviously the release, it's had as well. It's been released in every single supermarket in this country. HMV had a huge national release. It also got released in America, Japan, Germany, Mexico, Australia, Canada. It's got a global release, which is great for me because I'm one of the main characters in it. And it's gone to Netflix as well in a few countries, and Sky Store as well. So that is really one of the biggest things to date that I've done. Although I've just worked with Scott Adkins on Avengement, the Johnson film, which is an incredible movie, where I play a doorman called Cliff. So, and that one was a great experience. It's my first film.
So has anybody recognised you as you've been walking down the street yet, Mark?
Actually, I had a guy about a week or two ago walking his dog. He kind of, you're that Frank Perez kind of thing from Red Cop 1. So
you didn't shoot him, did you?
I didn't. No, I didn't. I was nice to him. So, but it was kind of, I think, because of the reach that film's getting. The problem with me sometimes, I look so different from day to day kind of thing. I'm trying to keep the beard at the moment, as long as I can, really. So see how it turns out kind of thing. But I just worked on Ip Man 4 as well. Okay. The Donnie Yen franchise, which was an incredible experience. I got casted a role in that. Obviously, Scott Adkins is in Ip Man 4 as well. He plays one of the main roles with Donnie Yen. But no, I had an amazing experience. I got to work with Yen Wu Ping, the coordinator of the Matrix movies, and it was a phenomenal experience. And I'm really excited to see how that turns out. So, but that's supposed to, I'm not sure when that's going to get released at the moment. So it's one of them where it's a coming soon one, but that'll be a huge thing for me.
Is the lifestyle as you expect it to be, Mark? Obviously, growing up wanting to be getting into the movies and things like that. Would you say, you're living the dream yet?
I think when I was doing Ip Man 4, I was living the dream, definitely. It was a huge movie, and it was all about my scene as well. So, which was incredible. The scene that I have, hopefully, if it works out great, I felt good doing it, and it'll be an iconic scene. So, for a certain purpose.
Okay. Can't say too much, presumably.
Yeah, that's it. But no, it's and at the end of the day, for anyone wanting to kind of pursue this kind of career as an actor, as an action performer, you've always got to be trained, you've always got to work hard, you've always got to be focused on moving forward, because if you don't have that drive, you don't have that passion, as soon as you lose the passion and the drive, you won't succeed. You'll be stepping off that path rather than staying on that path moving forward.
I was going to ask you about that, because you hear a lot from a lot of even established actors that say they have to deal with lots of rejection, lots of disappointment, and I suppose lots of failures to get different parts. Have you experienced that, and how have you dealt with it?
You just crack on. You have to. There's sometimes they'll be casting something, and it's not because of your ability. They might be looking for a different nationality, or they might be looking for a different type of look. I've been in them scenarios a few times. There's always something for you out there. You just got to stay hungry and stay focused and work hard, And then obviously, my advice is for anyone that wants to pursue this is create a show reel. A really good show reel, and actually showcasing your martial arts, showcasing your acting, whatever you want to put out there, really. So your strengths. Make films. It's experience. It's practice. It's working your kind of trade. The thing is, if you don't do anything, you're not going to move forward. Sometimes you have to kind of create your own opportunities. Don't just sit there and wait. Get out with a camera and start making stuff.
Of course, I mean, opportunities. Sometimes you're lucky. I think we all have to have a little bit of luck, but ultimately you've got to get yourself out there and be seen. And obscurity is the biggest killer, isn't it? No one knows you exist. You might be the best guy out there or best girl out there, but if no one's seen you, then that's the end of it, I suppose.
Exactly. That's the thing, really. I've been in this industry, the film and TV industry now, for probably about 17 years. I'm only slowly now making like waves where I want to be going. At the end of the day, I'll never stop. I love what I do, and the passion is everything. If you fall out of passion with what you do, you're not going to move forward. You've always got to push yourself and strive to be better as well, because never think you're the best. But I always say, when you go out there, like recently working with Scott Adkins on Avengement, you have to kind of give it 110% on everything you do. Fight scenes, performance-wise, whatever you're doing in front of that camera. As soon as they say action, that is it. You're committed to go for it. That's my ethos. I always push myself to the next level and try and strive to be better every time.
And I suppose it's quite mentally exhausting, presumably. Obviously, you have a take, and then you do your scene, and there's a retake, and then you've got to go back again.
Yeah.
I bet
Mentally tiring, physically tiring as well. My experience on Ip Man was incredible. It was tiring. It was long days. A massive thanks to Mike Leader for giving me that opportunity, because it was for casting me for that role, because it's probably the most exciting, the biggest thing I've ever done, working on that film.
Sure. So outside of the martial arts and the film industry, what type of things do you do just to relax at the weekends or on your off days?
It's pretty much, my mind is 24/7 thinking about what I'm doing and what I've got to do. There's always so much going on in the head of Mr. Strange. There really is. But, weekends it's nice to chill, go watch some films, and just, it is good to rest. You have to have rest time as well, because otherwise you just burn yourself out and you're useless to anyone. Because normally I have a gym routine, a regime of just being in the gym. If I've got something in the calendar that I'm working for, I've got to be at my best. I could be in the gym 2 to 3 times a day, in the sense for physique, for flexibility, for martial arts, depending on what I'm working for. When you get the opportunities to rest, you just make sure you take full advantage of that.
I suppose there's always that feeling that you never know what's around the corner, so you can't let yourself go too much, can you? And sit back and start getting on the doner kebabs.
Yeah, exactly, mate. No, that's it. That's the thing. I've been in scenarios in the past where I've got a last-minute job, and I've not been at my best shape. I'm never out of shape, but I've not been in my best shape, and I've had to shed like 2 stone in like 2 weeks, 3 stone even in the past. I've had to strip right back, and it's been extreme training, extreme diet. Yeah, so it's always good keeping a base shape, because and a base level of good fitness. The problem with this industry, you can get a job overnight, and next minute you're being flown off somewhere.
It's no dissimilar to being a fighter. You try and keep yourself at a base level of fitness, base level of body weight, because you never know when someone will call you up and say, actually, we really want you to come and fight over here in the next 2 weeks.
Exactly. It's exactly the same. And sometimes it's really hard, because the director might say, I've not experienced it yet, even though I did put some pounds on for Avengement. I wanted to look like a stereotypical doorman. But the thing is, with this industry, you might get a director and say, can you put like 3 stone of fat on?
Yeah.
And then next minute, like after you do that job, you might get another job where they say, right, okay, we want you to be ripped to the bone.
We want you to look like Bruce Lee's body double.
Exactly. It's like, it's up and down. Sometimes you're like a yo-yo.
Yeah. So how do you deal with that? Do you have your own nutritionist, or is it stuff that you've learnt yourself?
Yeah, no, well, it's a bit of everything, really. I have a company that sponsors me, Biomax Nutrition. They kind of supply supplements, all the best supplements for me, for either putting weight on or taking weight off. And then obviously it's my own knowledge through spending so many years with professionals in different fields, in the gym and the bodybuilding arena, in strength and conditioning. And at the end of the day, it's my own head, it's my own discipline. It's me that creates what everyone sees, if you know what I mean. I found martial arts really gave me that discipline.
I suppose this is the Motivated Martial Artist podcast. So one of the things we always try to ask the guest is, what sort of keeps you motivated? I know you've answered probably a lot of that in the interview, but is there maybe one thing that really keeps you motivated?
Success.
That's interesting. That was good. You know what, Mark? That was going to be my next question.
Motivated. like so far I've worked with some great people, I've done some amazing things. You always keep that success level higher every time, and you're always climbing that hill. And in my mind, that hill doesn't have another side to go down, it's always going up. It's an infinity hill.
Okay, that's interesting. So in Mark Strange's mind, what does success look like?
I'd say just getting the opportunities that you really want to do, and just kind of like developing. It's an ongoing process of moving forward and learning new stuff and bettering yourself. So that's being comfortable, really. So that's what I strive to be. I always do my best, guys.
Good. I mean, what advice would you give to a younger you, knowing what you already know?
The advice I'd give is, I hate saying this, but don't be over nice.
Yes.
Don't be over nice. You can be nice, but you can be lovely, and you can still be a nice person, but you can be too nice. And I found that in the past. So without going into too much detail.
Yeah, well, certainly I'd imagine your industry is quite cutthroat, so I think you've got to...
Yeah, exactly. That is the best way to do it. So I think everyone should be like Frank Perez in reality. Maybe not that violent. Maybe not that bad.
So what are you up to in the next 6 months then, Matt?
Well, yeah, I'm flying off to Germany for this convention I think Olivia Gruner's on the panel as well. I don't know if you guys remember him.
No.
80s movies. He did a film called Angel Town. I think Don the Dragon Wilson's there as well. He's done many, many movies. So it's like a convention signing and doing Q&As and all sorts of stuff in Germany, so that should be nice. Developing another film with me in the mind as the lead role in it, so that's something for early next year. And obviously we'll wait to see what happens with Hitman 4, and there's always lots happening, and obviously lots of stuff along the lines still developing with Redcon as well.
Okay.
So,
Is it like to be a Redcon too?
I don't sure about that. I can't answer that question. Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't think there's anyone left in the town to kill, if I'm honest.
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Strange wants to be in something so badass that sort of like, it'll be my homage to Rambo, First Blood, crossed with John Wick. I think, so that's what. And there's something in development at this moment in time, so for early next year. So watch this space.
Well, keep us posted, because it might be nice to get you back on the show in a year's time.
Yeah, sure, man. And anyone that wants to follow me, the best place to follow me platform is Instagram.
Well, we'll certainly stick a link on the Facebook page for that, Matt.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
So, final question then. What is the strangest thing you've ever been asked to do on set?
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. I can answer this straight away. Yeah. It never made the film. The strangest thing that I've done on camera is, I don't know if you can cut this out if you don't want.
We will do, don't worry.
Is weeing on dead bodies.
Right.
So in Redcon 1, but it never made the cut.
Right,
so
okay, cool.
I think it was a bit much.
Yeah.
Okay then, mate. Hey, Mark, really appreciate you coming on.
No, likewise, guys. No, awesome.
Really
and
appreciate it.
With everyone who's wanting to take a career in the movie industry.
Well, when they come across us, we'll send them to you, mate.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So,
Okay.
no, it's really, really good to chat to you, and like I say, I hope all your movies go well.
Thank you.
Like I say, I hope you keep injury free. That's always the the important thing, isn't it? In your industry, I guess. So.
Definitely.
And hopefully we'll get to chat again. Yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good to catch up.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Nice one, guys.
Fantastic.
Lovely.
Thank you very much,
for your time, Mark. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Good
Thanks,
luck.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Don't forget to like our Facebook page and our Facebook group, the Motivated Martial Artist Podcast,
Or check us out on Instagram, the Motivated Martial Artists.
where you'll see much more content and early insight into some of the interviews and some of the guests and some of the conversations around the things that we're discussing. Hope to see you all next week.
Bye for now.
Bye.